I have tried every single productivity technique on the market. I have 131 guides on my channel teaching productivity techniques and strategies, and I guarantee you haven't heard of this one. Attention residue controlling. What if I told you the reason you're struggling with productivity and getting your to-do list completed is not because you don't have the motivation, the productivity technique, but it's because you're not switching tasks efficiently? This might sound confusing and tricky, but in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the neuroscience of how to effectively control your attention residue to ensure you remain productive. Hello, I'm Dylan, I'm 18, and I coach unproductive people to turn productive once and for all. I personally went on a journey of productivity myself with 5,000 hours or 210 days straight completely wasted on video games and Call of Duty. I had no progression. I had no progress to show for the almost year I wasted, and I had aspirations that simply were limited and halted in their tracks because I didn't have the work ethic, drive or motivation to do the work. But now I can wholeheartedly say I effortlessly and easily complete banks of work for my business, for my education, for my personal development goals, and it's using techniques like this that I'm sure you won't know. So attention residue controlling. Simply put, this is leftover cognitive residue or resources from a previous task. So say I'm recording this video right now and I'm speaking and I'm activating the neural pathways to make sure I speak fluently, effectively and comprehensively. But if I were to shut this video off right now and completely dive into an analytical task such as filling out a spreadsheet, the neural pathways that are linked towards me speaking fluently are still active, awake and left residual, meaning that it's trickier to get into this analytical contrasting task simply because my brain is still active on the previous task. Does that make sense? So the reason this works is due to cognitive load theory. So lingering neural pathway activation means that you have lingering and leftover cognitive resources which are in the way for the next task. And again, the prefrontal cortex will get overloaded by this. There will be too much going on in your brain. You'll feel overwhelmed and unfocused simply because of this residue, and it can impact your second task you do because you'll have this lag in which the brain clears and you'll have this unproductive 20 to 30 minute bank of work because you haven't used the techniques I'll teach you. So in order to avoid this reduction in productivity and make sure you fluently and easily get through task A to task B, you need to utilize the clean slate breathing reset. For 90 to 120 seconds, I need you to stare at a wall and breathe. Take some deep breaths. I know it sounds wishy-washy, but the reason behind this is to completely clean slate your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that's attentive and focused and completing productive work, to ensure you can shift tasks from A to B easily and effectively. You complete task A, recording this video, stare at a wall and breathe for 90 to 120 seconds, and I guarantee this will impact the second task you do and make you 10 times more productive because you simply shut down the neural pathways that are activated for whatever you're doing. Again, if I'm recording a video and the neural pathways are active in which making me fluent and comprehensive in the way I speak, and I dive straight into a spreadsheet task, my brain will not cope and it will need this 30 minutes of unproductive procrastination to simply reset. My brain will lag. Whereas if you use this clean slate breathing technique, you will clear your neural pathways and allow you to dive into the work easier because you have free up space to do so. It will also deactivate the DMN, and I'll make a further video on this in the future, but the default mode network is where your brain goes and the state your brain goes into when you are in this flow of procrastination. If you've ever been bored and you find yourself drifting off and daydreaming, that's your DMN, the default mode network, kicking in, and this also causes procrastination. When your brain can't cope with the cognitive load of two tasks activating neural pathways, it reverts to this DMN and you start daydreaming and you're distracted and you're not locked in. Furthermore, you're going to regulate your dopamine levels with the breathing, you're going to decrease cortisol, and just this little short 2-minute break would allow you to dominate your work because dopamine will be higher due to the short break between work tasks. 90 to 120 minutes of staring at a wall and breathing deeply, and just close the task you've completed. You recorded the video, you have this little break, and now you can get into the secondary task you set yourself because your brain is wired to do so. You've freed up the space, you've allowed yourself to do it, and now you're going to be 10 times more productive because you aren't impacted by this attention residue issue. I hope this makes sense. And if you're looking to get more help from me, the top link in the description will take you to my productivity performance plan, where I will guarantee change your life, or I'll work with you for free until you get that result. Thank you for watching.